6 NBA players who hate Steph Curry. Hey guys, welcome back to NBA Hub. Today we'll talk about 6 NBA players and former NBA players who hate Steph Curry. Let's head into it. Number 6. David Nwaba. The animosity that surrounds these two players is kind of centered around a single incident, which you can watch here.
Starting with Nick Young's shot, that is about as ugly a finish of quarters you're going to have, and it's the Bulls that put up 40.
For context, it was the end of a pretty ugly first quarter of basketball between the Warriors and the Bulls. After being scored on, Curry ended the quarter by throwing the ball at Nwaba's back, instead of looking for a teammate to pass the ball to. The Bulls bench immediately got involved, and it was seen as a disrespectful move by Curry, who is a few years older than Nwaba, and way more accomplished. Would he have thrown the ball like that at LeBron or Westbrook? Probably not. Steph Curry defended the play though, saying that it was a smart way to close out the quarter and not a sign of disrespect. Number 5. Scotty Pippen. It's pretty common for retired NBA All-Stars to disparage the Warriors. A lot of former greats seem not to be able to go down with their style of play, which is largely based on shooting at a high volume of threes. Scottie Pippen's analysis is definitely valid too. He has won 6 NBA championships and played on some of the greatest teams in NBA history. He's a commentator for ESPN now, and during last year's NBA Finals, he said that Curry is not the best player on either the Warriors or the Cavs, and that he's not a dominant player. It's hard to see how he could think that a 2-time MVP could not be a dominant player, but I guess what he means is that Curry doesn't bring the same kind of physical dominance to the court as guys like LeBron or KD, both of whom Pippen feels are much better than Curry. Number 4. Dante Jones. This is a little bit like the case of LeVar Ball, where a guy who would otherwise be a nobody says things that he knows are ridiculous in order to get media attention. Dante Jones was a serviceable NBA player who seems to be retired now. He's famous for having been fined more technical fouls in his limited time on the court than he made in salary last year, although LeBron James apparently stepped up and paid his fines for him. Anyway, Dante Jones made headlines when he said that Steph Curry is not a top 10 player in the league. According to Jones, Curry comes in around 11 to 12 range overall in the league. It's hard to tell whether he's salty that his team lost to Curry's Warriors in the finals, or if he really doesn't think the greatest shooter of all time is in the league's top 10 active players.
People get mad at me because I don't declare Steph a top 10 player in the NBA, which is fine. I've got him on the outside, like 11, 12.
Him on.
Number 3. Charles Barkley. Sports talk shows are weird in that certain commentators don't even care whether they're right. For any point that one guy makes, another guy will always be prepared to argue against it. With a spirited argument making good television, Charles Barkley plays that kind of devil's advocate position all the time, aggressively defending the opposite of common sense arguments. As such, he has often slagged the Warriors and suggested that Curry isn't as good as people think. When asked about this, Curry said that Barkley is always really nice to him and his family in person, and that his television personality is a character he does in order to get views. It's pretty mature of Curry not to take Barkley's words personally and be aware of the difference between good television and real life. I'm not sure that I would be able to brush that kind of constant trash talk aside. Number 2. Chris Paul. There's a new biography about Steph Curry that outlines some of the disdain that other top NBA players have for him. It seems to be largely based on media attention that Curry receives. Curry started out as a skinny, baby-faced guy who wasn't threatening to anyone. He looked up to Chris Paul, modeled certain aspects of his game after Paul's, and was motivated to become better than him. And then, quickly, he did start putting up better numbers than Paul, winning more games than Paul, and the media attention shifted so that Curry was framed as being easily the world's best point guard, when only a couple years earlier, it may have been Paul. Back in 2011, there were rumors that the Warriors were looking to trade Curry to New Orleans for Chris Paul, and Curry said that he was flattered to be considered a good trade for Paul. It's amazing how fast he was able to leapfrog such players in stature. Number 1. LeBron James. In the last few days, news that emerged that the Golden State Warriors could potentially trade for LeBron James. Here's one article about how it could happen, and here's another. It's a ridiculous idea really, and would destroy any semblance of competition left in the league. It is hard to think about James and Curry existing on the same team, even though James has been lavish in his praise of Curry in the past, once saying on Twitter that he had never seen someone like Curry in the history of watching basketball. Still, the way that James gets fired up against the Warriors is a clear sign that, while he respects Curry as a basketball player, he can't stand him, and especially can't stand losing to him.
LeBron James shoving Steph Curry and called for the foul.
What do you think about these NBA players? Do you think they're right about Steph Curry? Let us know in the comment section. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.